Yeah, I do have a couple of personal moments because two of the original Tuskegee Airmen who are featured in the documentary, one is, they're both dead now, but one is Lieutenant Colonel Charles Dryden, and the other is Lieutenant Colonel. They retired. They were actually became career Air Force after World War II. It's Lieutenant Colonel William Holloman. I met both of them and had a chance to get to know them. And they're two very different individuals. Dryden is one of the most eloquent and elegant gentlemen I have ever met. He has this incredible charm. He met one of our women historians who was with me in the Newark airport. And boy, before he finished talking with her, she said to me, "I think I'm in love with him." I said, "My God, that fast?" And then Colonel Holloman was a short fellow who actually was more like the prototypical, what we call fighter pilot. Small, dynamic, aggressive. Even when I met him, he was 85 years old, and we're sitting there eating lunch, and they offered us water and soft drinks for lunch. And he looks at me and he says, "Doc," he said, "I can't drink this stuff." I said, "What would you like, sir?" He said, "You got to get me a beer. I don't want any sodas." So even at the age of 85, he was still what we used to call a pistol. In other words, he was really a character.
Okay. And have you seen the Red Tails film already?
Yes, I've
okay.
seen Red Tails.
Now, since you were around during the time that the movie is based off, would you say that it's a good comparison of how time actually was during?
That's a very good question as to whether the movie itself captures the era. Now, I'll tell you a secret. I was born in 1944. Now that makes me a pretty old person now, but I was a baby at the end of the war. But the Tuskegee Airmen were still flying out of Tuskegee after the war when I was growing up in Alabama, north of Tuskegee. The interesting thing about the movie is that it's very much a Hollywood film. Hollywood always makes things a lot more glorious and romantic. The fellows who are the actors are invariably better looking than most of the Tuskegee Airmen, but not all of them. There were some very handsome fellows who were the Tuskegee Airmen at that time. They were everyone's idols. Everyone admired them. And I think the movie has done a very good job of capturing the sense of these African American pilots whom everybody said could not be successful, and they proved against all odds that they could be. And the men are, at the same time, the actors are playing sort of stereotypical war movie roles. There's one fellow who is the hotshot pilot who just can't get enough of combat and is never afraid of anything. There's another fellow who drinks because he's got a lot of responsibility on his shoulders and it's weighing him down. But what's neat about the movie, from my perspective, is that it is a very traditional war movie, very heroic, very exciting, a lot of great combat scenes that George Lucas has staged using the new technology. But unlike most movies, the heroes are black. And that's what is really important. My wife, who is also a history professor here, Dr. Diane Batts-Morrow, does not like war movies, but she liked Red Tails because she said it was really nice to see black men portrayed as heroes the way they actually were in the Tuskegee Airmen. Not to mention they're really handsome. But that's beside the point.
Okay. Oh, that's great. Okay, and as you stated earlier, the movie is going to be shown here Friday in the SLC, correct?
No, the documentary.
The documentary. Okay.
Which is entitled Double Victory, will be shown in the SLC. It's room 171 at 6 o'clock on Friday afternoon, February 24th. So that's this
Okay.
week.
And you recommend that students come and see it, of course.
I heartily recommend that students come and see it so they can see the real people
Exactly.
as they were older, and then as they were when they actually flew in combat, that they could see the real folks that those movie heroes were patterned after.
Okay.